Hey guys, welcome back to Sgcarmart Reviews. Today we are taking a look at a car that first came to our shops about a year ago, and that video of the BYD Atto 3 you can't really find on our channel due to some issues, but that's why 1 year later we are taking a look again at this car. While I put on a few pounds, this car has kind of taken off a few. This is the Category A BYD Atto 3. What's good about it? What's not so good? Let's take a look. Today's episode is made possible by Sgcarmart Smart Loan. Sgcarmart Smart Loan is designed to save you time and money through a digitalized loan application via MyInfo for your used car purchase at below market interest rates. For a limited time only, get $500 cashback and a 6-month Kinto membership worth $1,200 when you apply for a loan today. To find out how much you can save when buying a used personal or private hire car, click on the link in the description below. Now back to the review. The 100 kilowatt BYD Atto 3 is priced at $173,000. The single electric motor produces 132 brake horsepower and 310 Newton meters of torque. The single-speed transmission brings the car from 0 to 100 km per hour in 9.7 seconds. The 60.5 kilowatt-hour battery provides a drive range of 565 kilometers. For more details on the 100 kilowatt BYD Atto 3 or any other car, head on to sgcarmart.com to help you make the smart choice on your next car. Now, starting off by the front of the BYD Atto 3, this is exactly the same as the CAT B Atto 3. You're going to get that dragon face LED with a strip of light across the front. Very beautiful, almost like dragon whiskers. That's why they call it a dragon face. And of course, full LED headlights and a little bit piece of blue plastic here that makes it look really good. Almost like you have blue headlights, but of course that's not the case. Then you do get a very clean front because it is an electric car and a BYD moniker up front. It's a dedicated BEV with its E-Platform 3.0, but unfortunately there is no frunk. Same for the Category B model. And your charging port is over here, which takes Type 2 and CCS DC and AC charging. 0 to 100 takes 1.2 hours, and 20 to 80% with DC fast charging can take you just 42 minutes, so that's pretty zippy. Now let's check out the sides. Now over by the front, you're going to find the same design in the Category B Atto 3, a very nice 18-inch. To me, it kind of looks like almost a floral pattern, and it's the kind of rims that I wouldn't mind not switching out of because it looks good. And then here you have BYD design, but it's not just a name because you'll find plenty of very thoughtful design choices all around the car. Now move down, you have the mirror with, of course, your 360 camera housing. More on that in a bit. Silver roof rails that stretch all across the rear to your dragon scale pattern here. So drawing back to its Chinese roots because it's a Chinese EV, dragon scales. It's a very nice touch onto the rear. Now come to the rear, you have a very large shelf spoiler up here with a high mount brake light, BYD Atto 3 and very nice rear one-line tail light. Open up this power tailgate in your Category A EV. Opens up to 440 litres worth of boot space with a parcel shelf, expandable to 1,430 litres when you knock down the rear seats. Will this pass the anti-trolley length test? Well, no. Not by a long shot, unfortunately, but it is still quite a deep boot. Now, I don't find any hooks around here, but you have these very handy nets here to store your things in this compartment so they don't slide around. Now, if you want a flat boot floor, you can set this for a flat boot floor to slide things in easily. And if you want, without this parcel shelf, you can easily knock down the seats from here with the tabs here. Now let's check out the inside. Okay, the moment you step into the rear of the cabin, you notice that it's super lively with blue, red stitching, white all around. And of course, the door knobs are these little weird things. They do take a little bit of getting used to. So people who step in, it's very common for them to, when they try to reach for the, how do they open? But it's just very simple. And then you get this very nice ambient lighting that actually reacts to the music. Speaking of music, you have, of course, your Guzheng strings at the door that BYD says is tuned to play a note. In terms of amenities, you're going to get speakers here that are direct branded. And in terms of seat pockets, 1, 2, so you can put things like your phone. And then another one. So I like that they put it on both sides, behind the driver as well as the front passenger. And you're going to get rear aircon, very important in Singapore. You're going to get an open and close valve, but no temperature control. BYD design down here, and I like this about this car. USB-A and USB-C ports, so whether you're using old cable or new cable, it doesn't matter. and a further little cubby space down here. And in terms of space, because this is a dedicated BEV on its E-Platform 3.0, you'll notice that for a battery electric vehicle SUV, it actually is rather spacious. Like, the floor doesn't come up as high as some of the other EV SUVs that I've sat in, so you can actually notice your thigh can rest on the chair, though your foot will have to stretch up a little bit further. I am 1.75 meters tall. This is my leg space, and this is my head space, so I am actually very comfortable. And granted, though, you have to push this up, because if not, then it kind of eats into your back when it's like this. But otherwise, like this, it's really comfortable. The color scheme, though, I really like these seats. They kind of remind me of Kyogre from Pokemon, you know? Now in the middle, you're gonna get cup holders, and there's a very nice rubber material, rubber teeth inside, so that they hold your phone in place, or rather your cups or your drinks, so that they won't rock around. Now moving on to the middle of the seat, middle of the car rather, it's flat. The floor is flat. There is no transmission tunnel, and for a car of this size, you're gonna eat into your friends a little bit, but I'm very comfortable because my feet, and of course I have the aircon vents. I can charge, I can put my stuff. This is a very comfortable space. You're gonna get ISOFIX everywhere. And of course, this panoramic sunroof just makes everything feel so much bigger and so much more spacious. It's a very comfortable space. I'm very happy with it. It's very cozy. Now let's move on to the front. Now over by the front of the BYD Atto 3, it is exactly the same as the CAT B, but I really like this quirky design. For this price, I think you could do a lot worse with the usual kind of plastic everywhere. I really like that they went with this brushed metal design here, this kind of leather looking material, these muscle fiber inspired design. It's very refreshing. It looks a lot better than the usual boring treatment everybody does. This is nice and refreshing, and it's affordable. Now down here, this is the thing. This screen could be a lot bigger. If it was bigger, I think it would be nicer, but this size, it kind of just fits nicely. And because it is mounted on the steering rack, no matter which position that you shift it to, you can see it perfectly. And it has very legible, high definition, everything you need to see: range, speed, power, sport mode, regenerative braking, parking brake, auto hold. Every single thing is there. Again, for the controls here, it is a very nice plastic. It's a plastic, but it's not the kind of plastic that you don't like. It's really nice to touch, it's really nice to feel. All your meter controls are very easily controlled here. My turning the screen here, safety systems of the car. It's very well designed, so that's why I really like this. This 3-spoke is really cool as well, of course following the color theme of the entire car. And of course, they have your dumbbell-inspired aircon vents and treadmill-inspired center armrest. You get 2 cup holders here that you can put your large bottle, enough to fit that, but probably just one because it would hit together. But a very deep cubby space that I can even put things like, ta-da! So it's kind of surprising. Down here, it's a wireless charging port. They're squeezing so much things inside here. This is a pilot-inspired gear shift. I kind of feel like out of this world, right? Another control for your media, hazard light button here, parking proximity sensor, regenerative braking, drive mode control. Everything is very within reach. Now, one thing that I think that they could do better is having the aircon controls here instead of having to go through the screen, especially when you're on your Android Auto. So there's no one touch to access. You have to hit menu here and then open that into your aircon controls. Everything else within the cabin is very nice. You have your automatic dimming rear view mirror, electronic seats for the driver, but I wish that they had memory function as well. Because other than that, they have memory functions for everything, like your regenerative braking, your drive mode. This is something that certain other cars lack, like the way they don't remember your preferred driving mode. Now, does this car drive as well as it looks? One way to find out. So driving the Category A BYD Atto 3, what does it feel like? Well, it is exactly the same as the Category B Atto 3. So 129 brake horsepower instead of the other one. And because the weight is exactly the same, the powertrain is exactly the same, it's just been detuned. The only difference is when you give it the beans, you kind of feel like it's a little bit muted. It is by design, it does exactly what it is, because after all, they found a Cat B. It came with a Cat B and then they're putting it down to a Cat A. So, very comfortable power delivery. It's quiet. It has Sport, Eco, and Normal. Let's say in Eco, if there's a little bit of a lag in the response time, I can understand because they want to mellow out your pedal response. But in Sport mode, especially for an EV, I want that I want this. It's a 330 Newton meters of torque car, EV after all. But is it horrible? No, not by any means. This is still a wonderful car to drive. Suspension, because the battery is down below, is enough give at the bottom at the bottom end of the suspension. It's comfortable. It doesn't bounce around too much. It's not too rolly. Could you go a little bit faster, even in the CAT A? Yes, you can, and I have. So I really like this car. In terms of safety, it is also everything you get with the CAT B Atto 3. You're gonna get your full safety systems, adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, lane keeping assist, and 360 cameras that you can see on the screen with the touch of a button. And really usefully, this comes on at any speed, because some of the cars, they kind of limit it to below 30 or 40 kilometers per hour. This one you can see all the time, so there's no excuse to curbing your wheels, because you're never gonna curb your wheels with this. I love that they have the cameras all there, but I especially love that they have a dedicated button so that at one touch it appears on your screen. And then of course you're gonna get Android Auto. Now, even without Android Auto, this is one of the rare few cars that I wouldn't mind not plugging up my Android Auto, because this is the infotainment system, very easy to use. One thing I have to caveat, just so you know, I'm not a BYD shill. Just so you know, I'm not a BYD super fanboy. I have to give you the truth. The aircon does take some time to start up. So if you get into the car, you start it up, aircon, I feel like there's about 30 seconds of the aircon starting to warm up. But I can totally forgive that, every single part of that, because of the app connectivity. With the app connectivity, I love this car, because every single time before I get to the car, when I leave the house, I turn on the BYD app and then I start the air conditioning, preconditioning. So by the time I get to the car, it is Arctic cold and just feels so comfortable. This is a quality of life upgrade. This changes everything, like almost on a level of ventilated seats, I feel. This is fantastic. And now in terms of NVH, this handles well. It's quiet, of course, right? By design, another thing that's by design, everything about this car is by design. At low speeds, you hear that little bit of a whir, but that's to warn pedestrians, because EVs are so quiet that pedestrians, let's say they're using their phone and they're walking, they might not hear you coming. So by design, they put in this little bit of a noise to warn pedestrians and also let you know that, oh hey, the car is moving, because otherwise you might not have noticed that you're on the go. To me, that as a point is, okay, it's neutral, because I understand that it's for safety. But they've even gone one step further and said that, hey, if you don't want to listen to this sound, you can put in this little orchestral music. So instead of that, when you step on the pedal, there's some like little orchestral music coming in. It's almost like a Disney movie, like your Disney character, and then you're walking along and there's some music to match what you're doing. And I think it's a little thoughtful things that matter. So this CAT A Atto 3, is it a will buy, won't buy, or go try? Now, if you ask me for the CAT B, it was already a will buy, so I think this definitely is a will buy. For many reasons, not just because it is a cheaper version of the CAT B Atto 3, that's one. Who doesn't like options, right? It's like the GK generation Jazz, you could have it on 1.3 or the 1.5. This, you could have it in CAT A or CAT B power output. And the difference is that you're almost paying the same price, excusing the COE difference. For the same price, you're getting the exact same car. Usually when cars come in a lower trim, lower engine option, they've cut out a lot of things, you know. This one, you're getting the same disc brakes behind and the front. You're getting direct branded speakers that light up the car. You're getting the same panoramic sunroof. And I love a panoramic sunroof, but this, very importantly, comes with an electronic cloth cover that stretches all the way back. Everything that you need in this car, they don't cut out anything just because it's a CAT A option. If you look at competitors at this kind of price range, you're not going to find much. You're going to find cheaper cars with smaller battery sizes. Another competitor, slightly cheaper than this, is BYD's own E6. It is granted quite aged, but it's also been given a facelift in the recent years. But still, top up a little bit more, and you could get this Atto 3. This is quite a no-brainer. In terms of outside competitors, you're going to be looking at, in terms of price, purely price and EV category, you're going to be looking at an E2008, which is slightly cheaper with a smaller battery. It is very well and nice inside, and it is another car of the year from Sgcarmart. But I think for that, I would top up a little bit more and get this Atto 3. And then next, you're going to be looking at, I think at about 180,000 is the Nissan Leaf with a much smaller battery. I think this takes the cake. I would say that its only real competitor would be the made in Singapore Hyundai Ioniq 5 CAT A as well, CAT A to CAT A. But that comes in at some 200,000, so it is quite a big pill to swallow. So that's why I think this BYD CAT A it's gonna knock it out of the park. It's kind of like the CN7 Avante. This is just, it's a no-brainer. And it's not just me, they have the numbers to prove it. From the time that they've launched this Category A BYD Atto 3, they've already sold so many units. BYD, not you. They've already sold so many units of the CAT A Atto 3. So it's kind of cheating, right? I'm saying that it's a will buy and people already are buying, but that's my pure verdict. What do you think? So that's it. That's our verdict of the CAT A BYD Atto 3. What do you think? Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Let us know down in the comments below, as well as any other car that you'd like to see us review. Do leave in the comments because I read every single one of these. And if you've made it this far, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to us. And also hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our future uploads. Also, follow us on TikTok. We are at Sgcarmart. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Pretty nice to use. How do I go back to that? I don't know. Yes.